Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Messi and Co. I am Ashley here with my amazing co-host Gian. We've had a couple of days of not recording and just kind of existing and working and doing our regular lives. But we are back to go over lots of Inter Miami news, to do our preview for Saturday's game against Red Bulls. So much exciting stuff to talk about and catch up on. But first and foremost, of course, how are you doing, Gian?
I'm doing good, doing good. Just keeping up with Inter Miami on the interwebs, on the socials,
Mm-hmm.
checking out all the news, getting ready for today's pregame show, and excited to see what Inter Miami are going to do in their next game. It's definitely a moment to prove themselves. They proved
Yeah.
themselves last game with no Messi. It looks like it might be the same. We'll talk about that, but excited to see what this team has in store and. Yeah, excited. So let's get to it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited. There's so much to talk about. The game isn't even on the first five on our list because, lots to catch up on. So let's start with some of the latest news with Inter Miami and, of course, Lionel Messi. Speaking of Messi, we should probably start there. And he, although he wasn't part of, the last game, he is still, I think, high on everyone's priority and list and curiosity about him. And what we learned is that he is not going with the Argentina national team for the current international break that we have a few other players at because of his lingering hamstring injury. But today we saw that he was doing light training on the side and was doing some outdoors work, and he seemed to be doing well. So that's good. But just overall, how are you feeling about Messi, about the injury, about the time he won't have and when he will be coming back and all that stuff? When you hope he comes back.
Yeah, so I think right now the priority is going to be to make sure that we keep him in good condition, especially as we come close to the Conca Champions quarterfinal against Monterrey. That's going to be played here at Inter Miami's Chase Stadium as part of the first leg. So that game is only a couple weeks away. So right
So
now,
intense.
that takes priority over everything right now. We're still early enough in this MLS season where we can kind of mess around with a few games, try to get as many points as we can, and then figure things out in the second half of the season. And right now, I mean, we're doing pretty damn good. We're in first place. So again, we've got the leeway, thankfully, and just prioritize one thing at a time. And right now
Right.
it's Champions Cup. So with Messi, it's not the first time we've seen him kind of like be very
Cautious.
cautious with that right hamstring. We saw him even last season kind of messing around with it and touching it. Then throughout this season so far, there's been a couple of games where we've also already seen him reaching at it early on in games. And I think that right now, there were tests that were done and it seems like it's a minor injury, not something that's too overly concerning. I mean, in the overall, generally, I think you can be concerned because it's the same injury that's bothering him. So it
Yeah.
looks like it would be something chronic, not something that was just a spur
Right.
of the moment, something happened in that game. But in and of itself, the actual injury through the test didn't look like it was that severe where it would keep him out, say, months, right?
Right.
But with somebody his age, with the amount of minutes that he plays, with the importance that he has for this team and how much this team relies on him, the moment that he feels something, the moment that he thinks that if he exerts himself anymore, he can possibly make it even more severe, they're just going to take him out of the game, rest him. And I think I'm not overly concerned. I think I'm just cautious, and I'm glad to see the team making the right decisions and keeping him out right now when, again, we have, I think, more than enough to
Yeah.
continue to compete until he makes his way back. Look, I don't know if I know he's definitely not gonna play this game. It's already basically been told to us he's not gonna play against the New York Red
Yeah.
Bulls, but I don't know if he's gonna play the following game. I think it's against New York City, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
might play that one. I don't know, but or is the first? That's the thing, I guess, is the question on all of our minds: is he going to play New York City, or is his first game back going to be quarterfinal CONCACAF Champions Cup against
Yeah.
Monterrey? I mean, at the end of the day, it's Messi, right? So, but
Right.
still, do you want to do that? So I don't know. Like, how do
Yeah.
you feel about that? Are we going straight into Monterrey with him, or would it be prudent if he's available to maybe play him a few minutes in that one game before?
Well, I'd say for everyone else on the planet, maybe besides a handful of players, you would most definitely want them to get a few minutes in the
Yeah.
game before. But for Messi, I trust him, and if he wants to wait and he waits, he'll play. I think he would play the same intensity no matter what.
Yeah.
But I agree with a lot of what you said. Is it slightly worrying that even this early in the season he already feels it? Yeah, but with his age and everything, maybe he's being overly cautious and understands that this is a very long season. He has the Copa America. He has a lot of very important games and tournaments to come in the next few months, and he knows himself more than anyone. He doesn't want to risk aggravating it. And like I said, I have zero doubt that he's going to be playing against Monterrey in the quarterfinals. Will he be playing a little bit beforehand? I don't know. I think
Yeah.
I think it's a blessing and a curse that he didn't go to Argentina. I'm happy in the sense that it was. This sounds harsh, and I don't want this to get clipped or anything, but like it's wasted miles on him. Like there's just no need for him. There was no need for him to play in it. Like these are friendly games, way before the tournament.
Well,
And
remember, we tweeted that a little bit ago about what was going on in the Argentinian press, where they themselves
we're saying don't go. Yeah.
were saying, yeah, is it worth Messi going to two games that don't mean anything for
Right.
him to then go and pull something, hurt himself, and be out for
Right.
months? They themselves
Exactly.
in Argentina were saying that. So
Right, exactly. And so, it's obviously I understand that every time he plays for Argentina, it's a moment and it's important, but in this situation, I'm glad that he's getting that extra rest and being diligent with his own body. A few other people who didn't practice this morning that are slightly worrying would be Campana, who has had that abductor issue that's been bothering him. It kept him out last week. The game against who was the game against that he didn't play? Um,
the one that he didn't play was
Montreal. No, no, no. He played against Montreal. Who did he? I don't remember. I remember the day before a game he didn't play because he got hurt. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
yeah, I can't
kept him
remember.
out. And so, worrying that he didn't practice today, but hopefully it's again a precaution because he was obviously so important last Saturday. He'll be equally as important, if not more, this Saturday. And also Nicolas Freire, who was taken off early in the game. On Saturday and against DC, so a little bit worrying. But Freire, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't end up playing. Campana, I would be very surprised if he didn't end up playing. So that's sort of where I am with those two players. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add.
Yeah, I think that Freire is it's a big hit if he doesn't play for us, especially with how at
Yeah, coming
times
off in the
that they've been.
30th minute though, is a little nervous.
Yeah, it is, especially because it was so early on, and knowing that on the defensive end sometimes it's left
Yeah,
a bit of concern at times. When we brought Freire in, it kind of you know brought a bit more confidence, and if he's not available, we know that it's probably going to be Christoph that's going to come off the
yeah,
bench to start. So we'll see. I mean, if he's coming off in the 30th minute and he's not practicing, I could very well see, and I agree,
yeah.
maybe him not playing here. And it might be, again, just prudent to not do that and
Right.
make sure he's available for Conca Champions. And we're going to keep alluding to that because that's kind of like, what
What we're
we're,
mainly focused on.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Excited about, anxious, nervous, all of the above. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
But, someone who did practice and who will be playing on Saturday and who just received a very big honor in MLS would be our very own number 9, Luis Suarez, who was named not only to team of the match day, along with Redondo and Campana on the bench, but he was also named as MLS player of the match day, player of the week, MVP of the week, however you want to call it, for his incredible brace and just, the level of play that he's done so far in this MLS season. He's right now our most important player. I think
He
that
is.
there's no fighting that, especially this Saturday when we have obviously Messi out, but we have 6 other important members of this team who are going to be away on international duty more than ever. Him, Busquets, Alba are going to have to really put their stamp on that game and do everything they can to win with obviously a very shorthanded Inter Miami squad. But it's great that he got match day. He certainly deserves it. He's just been a revelation this season.
Yeah, he's definitely been the most important player for Inter Miami, especially with Messi missing games. He's got 4 goals, most goals for Inter Miami. He's got the most assists for Inter Miami. He's been the most clutch for Inter Miami. I
And
mean,
great goals too, not like
yeah,
penalties or anything.
he's
Like
been the
he's
most
scoring.
entertaining for
Yeah,
Inter Miami. So definitely match the honors that are very much in order for him. And then luckily, he wasn't the only one. It seems like every week for match the honors, there's an Inter Miami player
multiple.
or players that are in every week for us. That just shows the quality of the
Yep.
squad that
And
we
the
have
depth.
on this team,
Yep.
the depth on this team that I mean, I believe it's 4 straight match days that we have somebody on match day honors. Did you mention the other 2 yet or no?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was Redondo in the midfield and Campana on the
And
bench.
Campana on the bench, and then we also had the match day honors for the young players, also the 22 under 22, and that actually had Redondo also, and it had Diego Gomez. So
2 players who we got to talk about because they are 2 of 6 who
yeah,
are not going to be playing Saturday, not because of injury, but because they are on international break. And let me tell you, we are missing some really, really important pieces for Saturday. And Red Bulls are too, and we're going to get to that towards the end. But obviously, in goal, Drake Callender is going to play USA. I hope he gets his first cap. I don't know if he will,
yeah,
but I hope he does.
deserved.
David Ruiz is gone for Honduras. Diego Gomez, Paraguay, uh, Schneider Borgelin, who's been coming on as a sub and who got a goal in preseason and who has been a nice breath of fresh air in that front three, is playing with Haiti, and then Federico Redondo playing with Argentina U23, and wow, has missing Gomez. And, I mean, Drake Callender has obviously been phenomenal and is our number one goalkeeper, but missing Gomez and missing Redondo when we already don't have Messi and we don't have Kremaski and now we don't have Ruiz. The midfield is going to be tough.
Yeah, 100%. I think that without those two, without Diego Gomez and Redondo, man, those are 2 guys that really do a lot of the heavy lifting
Yeah.
for Inter Miami in the midfield and also in the offense. They're guys that are so dynamic that bring equal effort on both sides of the field. Guys that definitely Messi and Suarez both benefit from because it's lightened their load. They're able
Yep.
to focus more on the offensive end, on getting the ball and either shooting or getting the ball and making the right passes, not having to worry so much about the midfield because it's on lock with those 2 youngsters. And definitely when we're already thin as it is, to lose those 2, it's going to be a big deal. And we've talked about this team kind of proving that they can play without Messi.
Yeah.
Now they're going to have to prove to see if they can play without their 2 young all-stars, quote unquote all-stars,
Yeah.
because man, so now we're going to see how we keep talking about depth. We're going to see how
Yeah.
deep we are now without those 2, but that's going to give opportunities to other guys. And I think that's important. We talked about that in other episodes where we said we were going to see heavy rotations throughout the season
Yeah.
because of the heavy schedule, because of injuries, because of rest, because of things like this. National
International
college,
break.
because we've
Yeah.
got good players. We've got good players, and that's a gift and a curse sometimes.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And it will be interesting. I mean, like I said, I think this will be, I'm hoping, an example where you have 3 incredibly seasoned players like Busquets, Alba, and Suarez, who are probably all going to start and have to immediately put their mental stamp on the game and, make Red Bull play uncomfortably and, take advantage of situations and, be a real game managers, which they all obviously have done multiple times. Someone who will be available to play and who has decided not to go on international duty is Robert Taylor. And
Yeah.
Robert Taylor, he plays for Finland. in Europe. And like I said, I imagine he will be there for the Euros in the summer. But right now, with an incredibly thin squad, he made the decision to, stay on form and work and be there for Inter Miami during what is obviously a difficult stretch. And we really, really need him. I really expect him, Campana, Suarez, Alba, etc., to be, Gressel will be playing, I think, the majority of the game on Saturday and needing to, uh, you know, add as much value as they possibly can. So it's great that Robert Taylor isn't going. I think it was a very, I don't know, brave, but like it was a great, team decision to do. And as long as he stays on form, I don't think he's going to lose his place in the summer. And I think
Yeah.
obviously the Euros is the priority for him. But for now, when he knows he's guaranteed game time and guaranteed to start, he should play.
Yeah, he's going to be a really important piece, especially as there are others missing. So, I mean, thank God for that, because he's a guy that has been very much a huge part of the offense for us so far. When Messi is missing, we've seen that he's been able to connect well with Suarez, with Campana. He's able to create his own chances. He's able to assist, and he's overall just always putting in maximum effort.
Yeah.
He's going back into the defense to help going into the midfield. And I think that especially with Gomez out, because you can kind of say, if Taylor isn't available, Gomez can kind of play that role as well. Maybe not the same skill set, but
Right.
still you're not going to lose that offense on the left side of the
Right.
field. With no Gomez, I can't imagine with no Taylor as well. So
Right.
at least he's here, and he made it a thing to say, he's kind of prioritizing Inter Miami right
Yeah.
now, and he also said it in a way that I thought was really professional and really still showing love to his team and saying, hey,
Yeah.
you guys need someone that's going to give you maximum effort on the team, that's going to give all 100% of themselves. And I want to see this team succeed. So I'm going to step away right now because at this moment in time, I have a commitment and I can't give you basically my all. And that's what you guys deserve. So I thought he handled it very well.
Agreed.
And that made me happy to see.
And lets young players in Finland
Yeah,
get the chance
the
for the call
professional
up.
side. Yeah, and if
Yeah.
you're from Finland and you hear that, I think you got to respect that as well, because he said it
Agreed.
very well, and he showed love for his national team. So yeah, I mean, it's really good to have him here as we play some games where he's going to be very much needed, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him be a protagonist in these next few games or couple games where he makes a big difference, maybe get some goals and some assists. I definitely can see him on a hopefully team of the match day
Yeah.
honors like the rest of his teammates have been getting. So
Agreed. And also someone who I didn't mention who's on international break is Boatwright, who I
yeah.
guess is close to back to being healthy. And we definitely could have used him as a right back this week. So another player that we don't have that is not available, but we have enough. This team has enough. And now, with that being said, what do we think Saturday is going to look like? Let's talk a little bit about this preview against New York Red Bulls, who is a team that are on a resurgence this year. They haven't had a great last couple of years, but they have some real superstars on their team. They have Emil Forsberg from Sweden. They have Lewis Morgan, Alec Burks. They have Dylan Nealis, a lot of really talented players, and then they've been playing pretty well to start the season. Now, not all of them will be available because they're on international break too, but still going to be a really difficult game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game, especially given the little added caveat here that we're going to be going in with maybe like 65% of our team. So I think that
Yeah.
that'll make it a bit more interesting as well. And it'll be away from home. So kind of just to give a little bit of background on what this matchup is going to look like, we kind of want to come in here and kind of give you guys a trajectory so far of these teams through the first match day, so you can kind of see where they're coming from. So Inter Miami currently first in the East with 10 points. They have 3 wins, one loss, and one tie. That one loss coming against Montreal at home, a game without Messi. And then
Yep.
the tie ended up being actually a really good result playing in LA. and
Yep.
we came out with a point. So that's actually really good. Now, man, Inter Miami has been clicking on all cylinders offense wise. They've got 13 goals, most goals scored in the league, so they're an offensive powerhouse. Goals against, 5 goals so far against Inter Miami through 5 match days, which
And 3
really,
of them were Montreal and
yeah,
kind of
3 of them were
freak
Montreal.
goals. Yeah.
So for as much, slack as, or as much, I guess, criticism that the defense has gotten so far, and yeah, with the test, the what is it, the eye test, you
Yeah.
can see kind of weaknesses in that defense. But if you look at the record, if you look at the goals, they've only allowed 5 goals, and to your point, 3 of them were against Montreal. So statistically, that defense isn't looking that bad. We've obviously done better at home. We're 2-1 at home, and our away record is 1 win and 1 tie. So I'm not overly concerned record wise. Sometimes you look at your team and you're like, okay, we don't do so well away from home, but they've
Yeah.
actually done pretty good away from home. And then
Yeah.
New York is currently 6th in the East with 7 points. They've scored 4 goals. They're not doing that well on the offensive end.
Look at that. 4 goals compared to 13.
Yeah, 4 goals compared to 13. So I mean, there's quite a discrepancy there. It's man, yeah, like that's huge. You don't usually see that. And then goals against, they've actually gone scored on 5 times. 3 of those goals were their most recent match against Columbus, where
Columbus, yeah.
Columbus absolutely just took over that game and won 3-0 on that one. So they're actually -1 as far as
Goal difference, yeah.
goal difference. Yeah. And then their home record, they've won 1 at home. That's the only win that they have. And then the other 3 games, they're 1-1-1. So one loss, 1 win, and 1 tie away record. So that's kind of like what this team looks like as we look to see what to expect from them. Inter Miami, obviously the better record, more points, more goals. But again,
Missing a lot of key players, yeah.
missing a lot of key players, playing away. A
For
lot
the
of
second
time,
week in a row.
a lot, yeah, exactly. Second week in a row. New York is going to be playing at home. They've got the fans behind them. And hey, this isn't the first time we've seen this. Teams get up to play against Inter Miami. It's a motivator. So, sometimes you read these things, the statistics, what does it look like on paper, but
doesn't tell the story.
Sometimes the game is a little different. So yeah, so that's kind of what that looks like. I don't know if maybe you wanted to talk about some of the key players.
Yeah. So I mean, all what you said is right. I think that on paper is one thing, but it's like we've seen with other, like when people used to play LeBron or play, Man City or Barcelona or in in the NFL, the Patriots, whatever it is, like no matter what your team record is and who's playing, when you're playing the best, you like go into another gear.
Yeah.
And luckily for us, every game that we play is like the other team's biggest game that they've been preparing for the season, which is good because it pushes us. And and I think that's I'm so happy that we're part of that team and that atmosphere. Always it leads to like a great match day atmosphere. Always. I remember the first couple of years of Inter Miami, there were games I was watching when there was 2,000 people in the stands, and it was not many people watching and not that interested. And now it's so different and it's so exciting and everything we
Never
want,
a
right?
dull moment for Inter.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter who they're playing.
Exactly. And I think that again, Saturday will be another example. It won't be dull at all. Who do I think are key players? Who is going to make a big difference? Well, I said them a couple of times already before, but Luis Suarez needs to continue his streak of either, of goal contribution. He doesn't just score a brace every single week, but he is so creative and intelligent and still so quick in the box, right? And making those decisions in the other team's box to score. I think he's going to have another great game. Sergio Busquets, without now Redondo, like we said, without Gomez, without Kramaski, without Ruiz, he is going to have to command every inch of that midfield and make sure everyone is in their correct positions to keep control of the game as much as we can. Jordi Alba, same thing, is going to have to be the real leader of the back line because we're probably not going to have Freire. We're not going to have Ruiz's right back. I don't know if Gressel's going to be right back or if he's going to be midfield. I don't know how that formation is going to look like. I mean, to be honest with you, we're probably going to do a back 3. It's probably going to be a 3-5-2. Just because we're just out of so many, defenders that I think there's not really much of a choice. But yeah, those are the players who and Robert Taylor, he made his decision to stay, which we're very happy for. And I think he's gonna, make it worth the while and be a huge playmaker and probably play a little further back than he's used to, but probably doing a lot of running in that midfield and front third and making things happen.
Yeah, I think there are some good points. I think definitely Luis Suarez is going to be the number one guy up there. He's going to be the one that's been a difference maker so far. And now with no Messi and a bunch of others missing, he's going to have to take on that role again. Now the difference is going to be, is he going to come in later on in the game? Is he going to get minutes from the beginning? That'll be interesting to see how that plays around with that. But definitely key player to watch on Miami side is going to be Luis Suarez. And then as far as the midfield, you got a couple of key players there as well with no Redondo and no Gomez. Busquets is going to have to anchor that midfield. He's going to have to put in a lot more work than he has because he can't depend on Gomez and Redondo doing the heavy lifting for him this time. So better make sure he gets in that gym, does a few extra pull-ups before the game, because he's definitely going to need that. He'll be running a lot more, that's for sure. And then I think Gressel, we've seen has been a big part of that midfield. We know that he's played midfield at times. He's played right wing back, but I think that this game he'll be one of the guys that we're going to look for, because early on, before it was Redondo and Gomez, it was Gomez and Gressel. And Gomez and Gressel showed a couple of games where they were able to lock that midfield, close the passing lanes, pressure the transition game from the opponent. And I feel like we're going to need that from Gressel this game without those two youngsters in here. So I think that those are going to be some of the guys we're going to need to look at on Inter Miami side. Now on New York side, it's interesting because the two guys that we were talking about before, kind of as we prepared for this preview, were going to be Lewis Morgan, who is
very well.
Yeah, who we know very well. He's their top goal scorer right now. He subbed in for their first two games because he was coming back from injury, but then he started their last two. He scored 2 goals so far. He's got the most goals for them so far this season. And he's a guy that can score. He's a guy that can assist. He's a guy that can score, playmaker. He's a guy that can shoot from the outside. He's not afraid to do that. He's a guy that'll
piece taker.
Yeah, exactly. Set piece taker. He's a guy that can run into the penalty area to finish that one, get the tap in. So he's multifaceted in his attack. So I think that's going to be very interesting for Miami to focus on that. He'll definitely be a key player, especially with possibly some missing pieces on our defense. But then also, who was the other guy that we were talking about? And then you brought it up to my attention that he might not even be in the game.
Yeah, Emil Forsberg, I'm pretty sure is with Sweden. He's the number 10 for Sweden too, and this is his first year in MLS. He came from Red Bulls, RB Leipzig last year. Went from Red Bull to Red Bull, but RB Leipzig, and he's really good. Obviously, he's still, he's still. I don't know if he's in his prime, but he's still good enough where he could be playing if he wanted to. He could still be playing for RB Leipzig. He could be playing in Europe. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he's at Sweden, and so he's going to be missing the game. I know that Burks also is playing for Jamaica, and he's been very impactful. I think their goalkeeper also is in Costa Rica, maybe it is, I think, but it's not available too. So it's going to be both backup goalkeepers, I'm pretty sure, starting.
Yes. So for Red Bull, I mean, with those guys that you're mentioning, they've got some guys missing as well. So maybe, it's going to be Lewis Morgan, and then maybe their other goal scorers, Elias Manuel could be one, Van Zier, their other top assister. So those are probably some guys that are going to be key players for them at this game. Guys are going to have to step up their game in the absence of the other players. So it looks like both teams are going to be missing some players. I would say that probably for Inter Miami, they'll be missing a few more. And
it's going to be interesting. I want us to go who we think our lineups are going to be. And I mean, I have to even right now remind myself by looking at the team sheet, because it's going to be tough. But I think it's going to be a 3-5-2.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
I think it's going to be in obviously defense. It's going to be Noah Allen, Christoph, and Tomas Aviles.
Yeah.
I think right wing back is going to be Gressel, left wing back Alba, Busquets in the middle, Lawson Sunderland, I think is going to be playing in the midfield.
Yeah, I'm just laughing because I have my lineup here, and you're like, I have it here, and you're
You're saying
literally
the same
nailing
thing.
it, like nailing it, everything. That's funny.
And then now this is though where I'm honestly really unsure. Like, I think it's gonna be Taylor is gonna be the third midfielder, and then up top it's gonna be Campana and Suarez, but I don't
Okay.
know. That's what
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know who I mean, obviously Suarez and Campana I think are gonna both start and be on top, or it's gonna be Suarez and Taylor, but then I don't know who the other midfielder is gonna be.
that's funny because that was the same thing I was debating in my head. But before I give you my lineup, I wanted to spend just like a few seconds talking about what I think we can probably expect from a gameplay standpoint. I think that
Yeah.
um, New York is a team, and it's funny because this has become like the norm now, where teams are going to give Inter Miami possession of the ball and just sit back and try to make Inter Miami make mistakes in the midfield. Um, and as we've looked at some of New York's games, they tend to do the same with other teams. They tend to relinquish possession of the ball and try to play counter or pressure high up to try to create errors to turn into counterattacks. And I think that now more than ever, with no Redondo and no Gomez in the midfield, I think that the pressure is going to be even higher on the midfield to make sure that they take care of that ball and know ahead of time they're going to pressure you. They're going
Yeah.
to pressure you. They're going to try to make you mess up on those passes, especially also knowing that not only do you not have your starters in the midfield, but you might be missing one of your starting center backs. So it becomes even more difficult on that end. So
Yeah.
I definitely would say take her the ball into Miami. That's what they're going to look to do is pressure you and try to make you mess up there. And
I have
then,
another fun lineup, but you first
yeah,
say yours because I have a
okay.
funny one. One that I want that'll never
and then,
happen.
and then just lastly, one of the things I think that Inter Miami should do on the attack, and this is something that Columbus had a lot of success doing this last game, where obviously because they beat them 3-0, the defense for New York tends to have issues when you put forwards to pressure them, put them directly on their defensive
Yeah.
line, and play balls in behind them. And that's what Columbus did a couple of times, where they were putting balls in behind the defensive line, and from a speed perspective, they were just getting whooped on that,
Yeah.
and it was creating a ton of issues. And when you look at maybe Suarez doesn't have all that speed, I still think that he's going to create an issue there. But if you got Robert Taylor there and his speed, I think that he can get some balls in behind the defense and create a lot of problems in that perspective. So just a couple of pinpoints there just to kind of look out for what we might see gameplay wise. But as far as lineups, yeah, I was looking at this lineup and I was laughing because you were nailing it. Like, it was almost like I was like, did I send her this? Like,
Yeah.
but
Where
so
she
yeah, it's
had to
gonna
go.
be it's gonna be CJ Dos Santos obviously in the goal.
Oh yeah, I didn't say that, but yes.
Then it's gonna be your three CBs, just like you said, Alan, Christoph, and Navides, because we don't know if Freire is gonna play. It looks like it's like
Doubtful.
trending towards him not
Yeah.
playing. But if yeah, so we're gonna go Christoph there. Alba and Gressel as your wing backs. Gressel on the right, obviously, and then Alba on the left. I also have Sunderland as your midfielder on the left. I've got Busquets in the middle. On the right, I've got Ruiz. So that's the difference there.
Ruiz is in Honduras, man.
Oh damn, we did say that. What the heck? So I think I messed this up. Wait, is he? No, yeah, he is. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. So with no Ruiz, then on the right hand side, that's where it could be interesting because Taylor has played on the right side before. He
Yes.
often plays on the left, but when he's needed to, he's played on that right hand side. So maybe it's Taylor, and then like you said, Suarez and Campana. If it's not Suarez and Campana, and it's Suarez and Taylor up front, that's what I'm
And
trying to
Campana
figure out.
comes in the second half. Yeah. So wait,
Yeah,
listen to this. This is a good one. We're coming up with such stupid ones, but one of them is going to have to work. There's so many players missing. Like something's going to have to give.
yeah.
So this is another option. Now this one, I'm going to give you a 3-5-2. Or no, excuse me. I'm going to give you wait, let me think. Yeah, no, no, no. Okay, yeah, 3-5-2, 3-5-2.
You're gonna do a 3-5-2, but like literally a 3-5-2
Oh,
or a
no, no,
four.
no. No, no, no. I'm actually gonna do. I'm gonna do a. Wait, shoot. Now I don't remember what I said. Okay, I'll say no. So the three defenders, like it's okay. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. 3-5-2. Ready?
The hamster wheels are turning in
No,
your
this is crazy. This is crazy. You're never gonna believe it. But like, let me cook. So
Okay.
three center backs. It's Aviles,
Mm-hmm.
Christoph,
Mm-hmm.
and Ryan Sailor
And Ryan Sailor. Oh,
or
that's interesting.
Freddy. So something like that. Ready? Okay,
Uh-huh.
listen. Wing backs, it's gonna be Noah Allen and it's gonna be Gressel.
Okay.
Jordi
Okay.
Alba is gonna be one of the three midfielders because he played. I don't know if you saw in Montreal, he was going up a lot and he was playing midfields. Okay, so listen,
Uh-huh.
just listen. It's gonna be the three midfielders. It's gonna be Busquets, Alba, and Sunderland.
Uh-huh.
And then up top, it's gonna be Suarez and Taylor. And I think because they have to have like they have to have one good player coming in the second half. Like, you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like Campana, I like Campana, Taylor, and Suarez, I don't think are all gonna start. One of them is gonna be on the bench because they can't, they're not gonna, all three of them aren't gonna play 90 minutes.
Well,
So
I agree with that. I agree that they're not all going to, they wouldn't all play. The reason I don't think they would all play is because there's too much offense and not enough defense when you're missing Gomez and Redondo and you're missing Freire. You, I don't think that you can have those guys because you give up too much on the defense. You're giving away too much.
yeah.
You've already lost Gomez and Redondo and Freire. You
Hmm.
just can't. You can't. That, I feel like that would be suicide as far as
Yeah.
from a defensive standpoint.
Or it's
So
going to be a 3-4-3 maybe, where it's the four midfielder or the four in the middle. It's Alba, Busquets, Sunderland, Gressel, and
yeah.
then the three is Taylor, Suarez, and Campana. But that just, like I said, I'm worried of all three of them starting up front because I just worry what's going to look like in the 70th minute. You know?
Yeah. No, but I can see the I just I don't know why Sailor would. Were you saying Sailor would start over? It would be Sailor, Christoph, and Aviles. You said
Yeah,
right, and
because
then
I
it'd
think
be
Noah Allen, because Noah Allen is going to be on the left, and Alba is going to be a midfielder. I know it sounds crazy. I know it does, but I'm just saying
it does sound
you
crazy having
you
Alba
have to
there.
think of how many people we're missing. Like we have no midfielders. Like we have no Ruiz, we have no Redondo, we have no, and like we have Gressel who's going to have to play on the right. We have no Kremaski.
You got
We have
Santi
no
Morales.
Gomez.
Santi Morales.
And maybe there's going to be a young player who we don't think of who's going to be playing them. I don't know how close Franco Negri is to being. I know he's been practicing a little
Yeah.
recently, right? Like maybe he's going to be on the match day squad and we don't know it. But I just think there's going to be something a little strange. I don't think Alba's going to just be on the left the whole time. Like I think he's going to have to come into the midfield to help Busquets a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely going to be a lot of moving parts for sure because, like you said, I mean, it's very like slim, and also one of the things that we also have to remember here is he's got to set this up, and that's why this is so difficult because again you're missing so many players.
Yeah.
You have to set this up in a way too that whoever you have on the field, you still figure out a way to have quality subs that make sense if
Yeah,
there's an injury,
exactly.
or you have to be prepared for certain scenarios in the game where you're gonna
Robbie
have to be like,
Robinson.
yeah, well, no, is Robbie
I think
Robinson's
he's
not
still injured.
available yet. He's not
If he
available.
was available, just so you know, he would score 4 goals on Saturday.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know you're a Robbie Robinson stan. We know that. We know that. But yeah, but that's the reason why Campana wouldn't start actually, because
Yeah.
you have to have Campana. If Suarez starts, you have to have Campana on the bench for different scenarios
Yeah.
where Suarez is tired or he gets injured. Campana is the natural replacement for him.
Yeah.
You're down a goal and you need another center forward. Campana can come in, or you're up with 15 minutes left, Suarez is gassed, and you need to take care
Yeah.
of that one goal lead or whatever. Campana is going to be the guy that comes in. Still, you have an offensive, um, you have someone in offense that can also play defense for you. He's going to run more than Suarez. So I think that's what the interesting thing is going to be for Tata is get a team on there that's going to be competitive, and then make sure you have a good bench to be able to adapt as the game goes along and make changes based off of what happens on the field. So I can very much see what you said. It can happen. I wouldn't, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet on it, but
But
it could
who's
happen.
going to be the third midfielder? Because I mean, like I said, it's going to be Taylor and either Suarez or Campana on
Yeah,
top. It's going to be Jordi Alba on the left. It's going to be Gressel on the right. It's going to be Busquets and Sunderland. Who is going to be the third midfielder?
yeah. I mean,
I mean, I
I'm gonna
guess Dos Santos, or what's his name? You said not Dos Santos.
Santi Morales.
Morales.
Yeah, it
I
could be.
guess, but like, if you who would you rather? Like, I would rather have Noah Allen play on the left wing and like Jordi Alba play in midfield than someone who I don't know. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but something's got to give.
Yeah, I mean, you can always also put four defenders if you want.
The 4-3-3.
Yeah, that's another way to do it. And you have
Who's going to be the
Gressel
right back?
there. Who's going to be the right back? It'll be, you can have on the left Alba, then you can have Christoph Aviles, and then on the right um you can have well, Boatwright is Boatwright. No, we didn't
Gone.
say he's gone, right?
Oh, you know what it's actually going to be? It's going to be Aviles as right back. He had to play right back a few times last year.
That's yeah, that's true too.
I
Yeah.
could
So
see
I
it being
mean,
a back four where it's I okay now wait you may be on something. I think it's going to be Alba, Christoph, Noah Allen, and Aviles is right back. Three midfielders is going to be Gressel, Busquets, and Sunderland, and then it's going to be I think Taylor Campana and
yeah.
Suarez. That may be
Yeah.
it. That may be
That
it.
could be it. Yeah, so if you guys are listening, we basically gave you about
We've given
15
12
lineups,
different lineups.
and you just choose one of those 15.
Put in the comment what you think it's going to be, but put it before the game starts. Put it
We,
before Saturday.
yeah,
We
yeah,
can see your we can see it. So
yeah.
let's see.
We're just assuring that whatever lineup comes out, we can say "told you so."
We
So
told
we
you
gave you, yeah.
exactly. I'm
So
going
we
to
gave
make
you
15
15.
different social clips from the last 10 minutes.
We will post the clip that shows the one that was right.
But
But
that's what makes this kind of exciting, honestly. Like, I
yeah,
mean, yeah, I wish we had a few. Like, I wish we had one more, certified midfielder. Like, I wish we had Gomez or Ruiz or Redondo staying. Like, I wish we had one of them so I could feel super
yeah,
confident.
yeah.
But
That's why it's also so important that we close these deals down that have been lingering, that we keep getting breaking news, done
yeah,
deal. Then the next 3 days later, no, he hasn't signed the
I know,
contract
right?
yet.
We need
And
our
then,
right back. Yeah.
yeah, so as soon as we get Chelo from Boca, again, that was reported that it was done deal. And then a couple of days ago, it was reported, actually, never mind, he hasn't signed the contract with Boca yet to extend so that he can be loaned to Inter Miami. And then we're still waiting on the whole Matias Rojas deal as well,
Yeah.
who would have been the additional midfielder that would help a lot in Messi's absence, because he's also a really good playmaker
Yeah.
and a good threat on offense. So,
But
once
it'll
we
be
close these couple of
interesting.
deals down, it'll be very helpful, and you can definitely see the need now for guys like that. I
Yeah,
mean,
as we're talking, I mean, I think when it's all said and done, the midfield three is probably going to be Busquets, Sunderland, and Gressel, and we just have no idea how the rest of the team is going to look. Like, that's what I
yeah,
feel pretty confident in, is those three will be in the midfield. I just don't know anyone else, where
yeah,
anyone else will be, but that'll
yeah,
make
yeah.
it fun, and we'll see. So, what's your score prediction while we wrap this up? Because at this point, we just have no clue what else is going to happen.
Well, you don't want to come up with more lineups?
Honestly, I could. Well, speaking
No,
of, you
no,
went first last time for
I'm
predictions,
just
so I'm
kidding. No
going
more
first.
lineups.
No, I
Okay,
have
you
no
go
more
first.
lineups. I have no more lineups. I have no more lineups. I think it's going to be 2-0 Inter Miami.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
think the goals are going to come from Suarez and Taylor.
Okay. 2-0. Suarez and Taylor. Okay. I can see that. I can see that. So I am going
That's
to.
the least crazy thing I said was that, yeah, I think Taylor and Suarez will probably score. Like, the least crazy thing I've said in the last 30 minutes.
Let's see. All right. So I'm gonna try to. try to use stats on this one, and just
Mm,
looking again at New York and seeing that they've scored 4 goals.
yeah.
Um, I'm going to say that they're going to, because the defense might be missing Freire, and because we're missing Redondo and Gomez, I think they're going to score. I think they're going to score 1,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we are going to score. You said 2-1, right?
I said 2-0.
2-0. I think it's going to be.
You said 2-1.
I think it's. I think it's going to be 2-1. I think they're going to score 1, just because
Mm-hmm. Could
again we're
be.
missing so many players. But I think that we'll score 2, especially with Suarez. I really think that Suarez is going to continue with his scoring
Yeah.
masterclass that
Damn,
he
they
has.
should put me in the midfield. Honestly, I can
Um,
cook. My
uh,
hamstring was gonna give out, but I can cook.
So I'll go 2-1 goal from Suarez, and I'm going to go with goal from Suarez, and then Campana comes in the second half and scores the second for
You
Inter
think
Miami.
Campana's gonna score?
Yeah, I
Wow.
think he's gonna score. I think he's gonna score, not just because I have a loyalty to him because he's Ecuadorian, but because he is
What?
actually. I think he'll score. He's scored 2 goals so far for us in 5 games. So I
No,
think
I
that,
like every time he scores. He's handsome. But
yeah,
also
yes.
he's good
So,
for our team. But like I just care that he scores because he's handsome.
but also, but also,
But
but
also
yeah. So
it looks good when he scores.
how do you feel about the pirate looking calendar with what's it called? Like, he looked like he had just gotten out of the beach, like sandy hair looking, and then he usually has his hair with like all gelled up. And the last
Calendar?
game he had, not calendar. I'm sorry, no wonder you don't
Oh,
understand what I'm saying.
Campana.
Campana. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How'd you feel about that?
How did I feel about it?
Yeah, yeah. Are
Great.
you are you slick back Campana, or do you like more like a
Messy
curly
hair.
Campana? Yeah, yeah. What is it? This is important. This is really important as
This is
we
great.
go into
Yeah, I
next
know.
game.
This is the analysis people are looking for.
Yeah.
I like him with the natural hair, the curly hair,
No, the curly hair.
the
Okay,
wavy hair.
that's
Yeah.
the one that scored last goal. So I'm hoping he shows
Yeah.
up curly haired, and we get another curly hair Campana goal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so this is going to be an interesting game. There's a lot of stuff to look forward to.
Yeah.
What type of lineup are we going to get? What
I know.
formation?
Please let us know either in
Yeah.
on Twitter, tweet us at Messi and Co, or on this YouTube video. Please put in the comments what you think. And I'm just gonna say this now: if my lineup with Alba in the midfield happens, I expect a long written apology in English and in Spanish.
Well, I haven't said that. I just said if I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet on it. But I think it could very much be possible. I feel like you're going to get more pushback in the comments than
Maybe.
from me. So
Me never
I
getting
think that's
pushback in the comments. Are you kidding? They've agreed with everything I've ever said.
so I think that's who you're talking to. That's who you're going to get the
Yeah,
apologies from, is the people in the comments who will give you
that's
the
right.
pushback. I'm saying I
Mm-hmm.
can see it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I won't bet on it, but it's definitely anything is possible at this point. Anything, literally anything is
Literally
possible.
anything. No,
I'm
I
sorry.
honestly, in the end, I think it's probably going to be Aviles on the right back, and like I said, those three midfielders is going to be Busquets, Gressel, and Sunderland. But we'll see. It'll be fun. We will be doing a post game live stream as always. So make sure you're subscribed. Check that out. And this has been a really fun episode. We had a good time talking about the news and the players and the lineup predictions and the game overall. It's going to be a good one. This is exciting. Look, it's fun. It's part of the season. Not one game is like the other. So that's what
Yeah.
keeps us interested. For this episode, make sure again you're following us on Twitter at Messi and Co, on TikTok at Messi and Co, 5 Reasons Sports, posting videos every day there as well. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel 5 Reasons Sports Network. I'm Ashley. That is Gian. We will be back Saturday, and thank you for listening to Messi and Co.
See you guys.